Hello everyone and welcome back to Abundantly Minimal. I wanted to do a different type of video today as we move away from our condo in just 2 days. And it's definitely been a flurry of packing and preparation, but I wanted to sort of do a packed up house tour, so to speak, or thinking about kind of those final thoughts you have about a place before moving away. I know recently, out of curiosity, I looked up my old empty house tour video back when we got this place in 2018, and it was fascinating to not only see how the space had changed, all the work we did to it, and the changes we made over the 4.5 years of living here, but also it was just interesting to see that as a snapshot in time, and I think I'll look forward to looking back on it now, especially as, although it's partially packed up and definitely not the same as it was while we were living here, it's a snapshot into where we're at right now, and I think that can be kind of a fun comparison to make. And if you are interested in checking out that original one from 2018, I'll have that linked below, as well as when it was at our full capacity in our regular, minimalist home tour. Anyway, I thought we'd go room by room and I would kind of share a few general thoughts as I sort of say goodbye to the space and reflect about what I like that we did with the space and any lessons I learned from it. So starting here in the office, this room was very much a flex room during the time. It wasn't an office the entire time. When we first moved in, this was a roommate's room who was living with us. And then it was sort of an office for a while, but it didn't really have the nice structure that we see in the space now. I think the big lesson I learned from this space in terms of how to make it an optimal environment is to really add structure or structural pieces that give the room a certain feel to it and make it seem more than just, an empty box where you can put whatever, you have that's just kind of leftover. I think once we added these different pieces back here, we really gave the room shape and made it much more exciting to be here. And especially, I think what feels sort of sentimental about this room, I know we got the business logo up there. I think getting that, but also just when I look back on the trajectory of my life and where it's gone, this room is where thousands of hours were spent working on my business. Well, this business too, but this business didn't work out the same way. But during that process, being able to just, put in the work, build it to where it is now. And it's really special, I think. I mean, it's completely changed the trajectory of our lives. And it all started here. So I do feel, a sense of connection to that. And in terms of moving preparation, I'm filming this now too because we are about to try to remove the furniture from this room since this is the furthest from our front door. So making it easier on move out day so we don't have to walk as far and carry things as long. So we're going to be slightly disassembling these IKEA pieces back here and then moving other things out. So it really will just be a shell of a room. We wanted to make sure we were aware with how much we had, so we did already gut the furniture and pull any of our belongings out of it, so they're in a central place and there's no surprises. We don't want to be the night before the move and still have furniture with stuff in it. So that's been one of our big goals, and it's so far gone really smoothly. So this room will definitely be missed, but we are excited for what's in store for us. We are now in the bedroom. I apologize for that harsh overhead light. This room was definitely the first time where we decided to get really creative with paint color. I think it was a good thing to get out of my system. I don't necessarily feel that I need to do it again, but had no regrets for it. Definitely helped for some relaxing sleep, having this beautiful blue color. I still love this blue color. And one of the big recent changes we made in here was actually getting rid of the wooden dressers we had. I know I mentioned it a little bit in my most recent video talking about decluttering before moving, but we were really intentional prior to this move to make sure we were only bringing things with us that we love or find very useful or absolutely need. And the truth is, while we still needed some clothing storage, we have other pieces we like better that can fit that purpose. And they were just so heavy to deal with that it just didn't feel worth having to move them yet again to another place. So we did have someone come pick them up who was very excited about them. And whenever there's an interaction like that, that's really a meaningful experience. When we let go of items or if we're donating them to a different donation center, sometimes we don't get that feeling, but when you are able to have that person-to-person interaction, it's great. Of course, it's a lot easier to just take your stuff to a donation shop than have to work to find someone who's interested, but it worked out really nicely. We ended up giving them away for free. There weren't really any takers when I had listed them for sale, so ultimately that was fine. But yeah, I think it's definitely also been interesting since that was about a week and a half ago or so that they were picked up. We haven't had them in here, that furniture in here during that time, and the room does feel much more open, and we've made do. We've actually just had some of our essential pieces of clothing in our linen closet here. So it definitely is a good reminder that we probably can get away with less than we have, and just because you have something doesn't mean that it's actually worth it or worth keeping, I should say. So that's been a big change in here. Moving into our personal en suite bathroom, I think just one of the things I'll highlight, and if you watch the 2018 video, I think you'll find it humorous, at least I did. Back then, I was so obsessed with this bathroom. It was actually the only room of the house that we didn't do any work to at that time. I did actually slightly change the paint color during our time here because it bothered me that the original one wasn't exactly matching with the stone. We went with a slightly different shade that worked better. But it is funny just how overly excited I was, and it's like, it's a bathroom, you know, it's it's pretty basic. But yeah, we didn't really end up doing much in this space, but I think we're definitely looking forward to having a little bit more space in our future owner's bath, if you will. And also, I think it is unfortunate just the way the lighting works, not having the window. Of course, that's common in a lot of places, but I am looking forward to that change in the future. But certainly it did its purpose here that we needed it for, so that's really all you can ask for. One little bonus discovery in our preparations for moving in, preparations for deep cleaning the space, which we'll do after we move out, we did discover this motorized cleaning brush that honestly has been very helpful, especially with some of the grime and mildew or whatever in the shower. It has made the process a lot better. So just wanted to highlight that if you are interested. I think I would have done a better job keeping the area clean regularly if we had it before, this move out time. So that's just a way to make cleaning a little bit less laborsome, especially so you don't have to be, down on your hands and knees scrubbing the shower. It's a little bit easier to have that kind of leverage. We are here by the laundry room. Truly not too much to say. While we were here, we did replace the machines because the old ones stopped working. We also, behind the door here is our water heater and furnace, all the other stuff that I'm not, super well informed about. But we replaced the water heater. This room was hideous when we moved in. Awful brown wallpaper. I did paint the cabinets a fresh coat of white paint during our time, so some subtle changes, but also it's a pretty tight room with a lot of different purposes, so to some degree there's not too much you can do to make the space feel more open, but we were very grateful, of course, to have in-unit washer and dryer, and looking forward to having it again in the future, just a bigger space. We are here now in our hall bath, and I think this is the room I'm going to be most sad to leave, just because this was one of the projects, the biggest project we did while living here, and truly loved so much how it turned out. It's absolutely stunning, and we love the colors, we love the fixtures and everything that we did. Granted, we chose things, we did not do much of the labor ourselves, besides painting and a few more generic things. But I think my big takeaway here, what I'm really grateful of, is the fact that we knew we weren't going to be in this home forever, and we knew we wanted to update this space, so we didn't wait too long. We have been able to enjoy this completed, beautiful bathroom for a little over 2 years. So we didn't necessarily have the budget ready when we first moved in, but I'm so glad we didn't just wait until close to moving out to enjoy all the amenities. So If there is a major home project you have been putting off and you also don't know how long you'll be in your home, I encourage you to go for it if you're able to do so, because I think it's definitely going to be enjoyed by whoever moves in next, since it was a major improvement to what it was before. I'll leave that video linked below as well, but I'm glad we got to as well, and getting 2 years to enjoy it is, feels worth it for the hassle of getting it done. So that's, I think, going to be the room I'm most sad to leave, but it's going to be beautiful in the new place too. All right, we are now here in the kitchen. So with this, we didn't do a ton of changes to it, but we did replace the fridge and the microwave after they both basically stopped working shortly after moving in. So we definitely were a little nervous about what did we get ourselves into when we had multiple of these repairs shortly after. We were worried that maybe they had just let things, kind of slip into disrepair prior to them selling it. But regardless, it all ended up fine, and we liked what we got. We have been doing a bit of a use it up challenge in this space. So the use it up challenge, the idea you're using up any random stuff that you have. In the case of a kitchen, different pantry essentials, really keeping the fridge and freezer cleaned out as much as possible, and it's actually pretty sparse in there. We've had some weird meals, but the idea is that then you're not carrying as much with you to the next space. And we've also started kind of packing up some of our dishware and containers. We got rid of a lot of our extra containers, which I guess you saw a little bit of in our last video. So yeah, we overall have really liked this space. I think one of the improvements I'm looking forward to most, though, for our next space is having an open kitchen, because you are very much closed off here from the main living space, which is on the other side of that wall. And I've thought, oh, it'd be so nice if it was just open. So I think that's one of the changes I'm most looking forward to about the next space. But this kitchen has served us well, so we definitely grateful for that. All right, this brings us to the final area of this tour, so to speak, and this is our dining room and then living room behind you, which is where we're storing all of our stuff. So if you've thought, wow, where's their stuff? You're about to see it. With our dining room, we actually got rid of our dining room table. Now, this one didn't necessarily go as planned with decluttering, but it was very worthwhile that we did it. We did buy this table for $450 back in 2014 when we first got our first place together. So this one, compared to the other bigger pieces of furniture we got rid of, we did actually pay more of a substantial cost for. So we really did want to sell it to someone else and recoup a bit of that, although we did get value from the table for over 8 years. However, unfortunately, it didn't work out. There was no interest in paying for the table when we tried, and we were getting closer and closer to move out day. Of course, we wanted to still use the table as long as we could, but we didn't want to, have it too close to, move in time. So actually just yesterday, someone came and picked it up for free. And it's one of those things, it was a bummer to not be able to recoup any of that cost, especially when it did have some value, but it is just worthwhile for it to be gone. And I had to think, even though I'm bummed out to not get any money for this, what is the price or the value of not having to haul it upstairs or move it to this next place? And that was priceless to not have to deal with the hassle. And it was funny, we had initially listed it online, and maybe I'm too communicative to a fault, and I list out all the specifics, including what's not great, just because I really don't want to blindside anyone if they're coming to pick something up and it's not what they expected. So I was like, it's very creaky if you lean on it, and this one chair cushion falls out, and just all the different things about it. And when I was really laying all those out, it's like, this has been fine, but it's not a great table. So I'm excited for what we have in the future. I think will be an easy upgrade no matter what. And it did serve us well in this time, so I am grateful for that. We've got some donation items in the corner for a third round of donations. I know my last video was kind of the second round of donations, or the second wave. And we've got more random stuff, some big stuff. Spice rack, one of the extra lap desks I have. It's started falling apart a little bit. Some old teacher trays that we had for kids to turn in papers. We were using it for a bit of organization, but I don't think we need that anymore. An old weight rack that we also could not sell, unfortunately. And a few other random little trinkets or office items. So we're getting rid of those as well. And then with the living room space here, I was thinking I don't necessarily have, a major lesson or anything from this space, but definitely spent the most time here out of any room in the house. So it's definitely been, a well-utilized space. Although I guess I do look forward to having a little bit better shaping in the future of the room because we did kind of struggle with it. And I know it was often a struggle of where do I film my videos and how do we set things up with watching media and not necessarily loving the space structurally. So I am curious to just kind of see how our living style changes as we move into a new space. So final thoughts now that we've had a chance to walk through everything. I think it has been an amazing 4.5 years here. And although I am so excited about the next chapter, I am really appreciative of this time here. This condo was the perfect property for us for a long time. It was much more affordable than a lot of the other options when we bought it, so it was pretty easy to pay off, and we weren't living beyond our means by any way, especially in those risky years when I first started my business and had left my teaching salary behind. I think it was also really nice to be in a condo because that gave us a lot of flexibility to take some of the long trips that we did where we were gone for 7 weeks on vacation or out there in the world. And I think also too, at least in our situation, although there's a lot of temptation many have about getting a single family home, condos are so much more affordably priced. So for the space, square footage quality, we were able to get this place for over $100,000 less than what it would have been if we looked for a house of a similar size. So that's pretty sizable money there. And yeah, it worked really well for us. I think we've learned a lot for going forward. And I think that's one of the beauties of not only living in different places to see what you like and what you don't like over time, but also just continuing to reflect. So you're living in a place that really matters to you and, makes you happy. So that's, I guess, my long-winded answer. But if you do want a bit of a laugh, I really encourage you to check out that 2018 video. I seem so young, a little naive, but it's cute, kind of fun. Anyway, it was fun to do this, and I'm sure looking back on this will be interesting, several years in the future when we are, doing other projects in our home or anything like that. So thank you so much for watching. There may be some more moving related content coming up at some point, but probably a bit more of a lag before that one happens. But if you'd like to check out some other videos, you can do that here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.